Hello and welcome. It's Jen from drjenbasir.com. Today I have in store for you an exercise that you can use to start helping to heal yourself from the trauma that you have not yet processed. We've been talking recently about trauma, what trauma is, what happens to your body physiologically when you experience trauma, and then the physical and emotional changes that can take place in the body, especially for trauma that is very intense or repetitive, experienced over a long period of time. And that knowledge is helpful to give you an understanding that this is not something that is all in your head. It is something that is actually in the physical body itself. And so the blessing of that is that we can use the physical body to help find the healing that we need from the trauma. In fact, we have to use the body and we have to access the feelings and the emotions because the trauma is encased, if you will, within the emotional, primitive part of the brain, not in the thinking brain. So talking about a traumatic experience is not going to ultimately help you heal from that experience. It needs to be released through the emotions and through the physical body. So when you get into this state of trauma that you've experienced, we want to liken it to your breathing or your heartbeat, anything that is a rhythmic process. And with these rhythmic processes, if you think about your heartbeat or about your breath, you have these alternating phases of opening up and expansion, and of closing back down, and of contraction. And these alternating phases happen throughout not just the processes in our body, but throughout all of the different cycles and experiences of Mother Nature and of our life as well. It's this pattern of expansion and contraction that we're going to use as our model for processing the trauma. So if you think about being in a normal, healthy, happy state, you are more open, more expanded than you are closed or contracted. And we want to be able to have this big opening and then this contraction, just like our breath. We breathe in deeply, we enjoy that breath, it feels good. And then we exhale and we let that breath go. And then there's this little pause, inhale, big expansion, and we exhale and the contraction to release that breath. And the cycle just continues this way. Well, in contrast, when you have experienced some sort of trauma, it's like that cycle has gotten stuck and it's much, much smaller. So now instead of having big expansion and contraction, you're kind of stuck here. Everything gets tense and tight and restricted. You feel the fear and the helplessness associated with the experience. And so if you just think of fear by itself or anxiety, what happens when you feel anxious or fearful? You tighten up. Everything constricts and gets tight. So if you have trauma that has not been processed, it's kind of like being stuck in this state where your expansion and contraction cycles are restricted. So now you only expand a little bit and then you contract, and you expand a little bit and you contract. And you're probably doing that at a faster rate than you are if you're calm and relaxed and you have this nice big pattern of opening and contracting. And so you're stuck here in this space, and what happens is as you start to expand, it triggers and it brings up those feelings and emotions that are meant to have been processed when you initially experienced the trauma, but they've been suppressed and haven't been allowed to express themselves. So just starting to expand by itself can re-trigger that cycle of the trauma, because you start to expand and open up and it starts to maybe feel okay, but then it brings up other emotions that are part of the trauma cycle. And those emotions and feelings can be very, very strong, and that intensity of those feelings is frightening to most people. And so then you close back down. And that just perpetuates this trauma cycle. some of the feelings that may come up, especially our feelings about anger and rage. And rage is an incredibly strong feeling, and it's not comfortable. And so we start to experience these things and we don't like the way it feels, and we're not used to experiencing those things, so we shut back down. And so just trying to come out of this contracted state with this unprocessed trauma can lead you to reliving and re-experiencing the trauma over and over again. So the way to come out of it is through that same process. The only way out is by going through. The only way out of the trauma is by allowing the body to experience not the reliving of the trauma, but the expression of the emotions, of the feelings, of the sensations, of that fight or flight response being fully executed and expressed through your body. And the key is in learning how, making the choice to, and then learning how to let these sensations surface without feeling fearful about them and contracting and constricting those things again. So there are a few words of wisdom, I guess, words of guidance that I want to give to you before I give you a simple exercise that you can start doing. The first thing is a little disclaimer. If you have recently experienced something traumatic, something very strongly traumatic, acutely traumatic, this might not be a good idea to do on your own. It might be best to find some professional help and work with someone who is trained to guide you in processing this experience, because you don't want to be re-triggered as you try to relieve yourself and find relief from the experience. The second thing is, it is very, very important that you find a space where you physically and emotionally feel safe to start allowing these feelings to surface. One of the biggest things that is compromised when we experience trauma or when we feel highly anxious is that we don't feel safe because we feel fearful. And so it is critical to find a space where you feel physically and emotionally safe to allow yourself to start exploring these things. The third piece of advice that I have for you is to be gentle with yourself. Allow yourself time and allow the body the time that it needs to process and express these things. The trauma that you might have experienced might not be recent. It might be something that happened years ago or even decades ago, and only now are you ready to find healing from it. And so it's been with you a long time. It's going to take a long time, in many cases, to fully and completely heal from that. It's not going to happen spontaneously in 30 seconds. So be gentle with yourself. Allow yourself the process of time. The last part that I want you to keep in mind before we go through this simple exercise is that the body naturally has its own spontaneous physical reactions to releasing the trauma. And you may experience these as you start to go through this process. Most commonly, you will experience shaking or trembling. This is the body's way of dissipating all that energy that has been stored up as you went through the physiological process to react to the trauma. So if you notice that your limbs, your arms, your legs, any part of your body starts to do a lot of shaking or trembling, realize that this is normal and healthy and helpful, and do the best that you can to stay with that sensation and just allow it to continue, and it will help clear out that trauma. Okay, so here's what we're going to do for an exercise to help you start processing your own trauma. And the whole point, or the key for this exercise, is to tune into your physical body and to allow the sensations that you feel to just surface and do whatever they want to do without trying to judge them, to give them a name, or to feel the need to engage in conversation with these feelings. The trick is to just be an observer and realize and stay in that space of being safe and being protected where you are. Okay. So I want you to find a place where, again, you feel safe physically and emotionally, and let yourself come to standing. We want to focus on being fully present in our body and being very grounded, and this is easiest to do if you're standing as opposed to sitting or lying down. So come into your standing, just standing upright, and get your feet a comfortable distance apart from one another. And let your arms just relax gently at your sides. And then it's up to you whether you want to leave your eyes open or let your eyes close. Do whatever feels more comfortable for you. If you are able to close your eyes, that can make it easier to tune into your body and to the sensations that you're feeling within your body. So start off by just standing here in this nice comfortable position and just let yourself breathe. And just take a couple breaths and just notice your breath. Don't do anything with it. Don't try to change it. Just allow yourself to breathe and notice what you feel. And then take your awareness into your legs and into your feet and kind of shift your weight from side to side a little bit and give a gentle push with each foot into the ground. Really feel the connection between your feet and the earth beneath you. That you are safe and supported by the ground beneath you. And then when you feel a bit of that connection, you can just stop moving and come back and just keep your arms relaxed and continue to breathe nice and slowly. Now, as you continue with your breath, we're essentially going to do a body scan while you're here standing. So you're going to direct your attention first to your right foot and very slowly move your attention from that foot into your ankle, up to your lower leg, your calf, into your knee, and then bring your attention up to your thigh. And as you go through this process, just notice what each part of your body feels like. What is the experience as you bring your awareness to each part of your body? And then go back to the left leg. Start in the foot, come up to the ankle, come up to the calf and the knee and the thigh, and notice what you feel as you go through the legs. Have an awareness of any changes that you might feel in your breathing. Any place that you feel any constriction or any tightness. And also any place where you maybe feel some openness, some freedom. Maybe you feel warmth someplace. Or maybe you have an awareness of something feel cold. Just allow those things to come. You're going to bring your awareness up into your pelvis. Let your awareness slowly come up to your waist, to your belly, your ribs, up to your heart and your chest, and then into your shoulders, and we'll go down into the right arm, your right shoulder, your right upper arm, your elbow, your forearm, your wrist, and your hand. What do you notice as you go through these parts of your body? And then come back to your left shoulder, the left upper arm, the elbow, the forearm, the wrist, the hand. What awareness do you have? What sensations do you feel in these different parts of your body, or maybe you feel them in other parts of your body. Bring your awareness now to your neck, to your head, to your ears, your mouth, your nose, your eyes, to the top of your head, and then down to your jaw. And then lastly, let your awareness come down your back, down your spine, along the curves in your back and down to the base of your spine and your tailbone. And then once more, bring your awareness back to your feet, where they connect with the ground. And do a little shifting of your weight from side to side and really feel your feet connected with the earth. And if your eyes have been closed, open your eyes. Take a few deep breaths and then look around the room and just see what you notice and how you feel. Don't worry about trying to describe things or name them. Let go of any judgments of them. Just have an awareness of things. And then thank your body for helping you with this process. And then when you're ready, move forward and continue about your day. I went through this maybe a little bit quickly, but it's just to give you an idea of an exercise that you can use to start becoming more aware of the sensations in your body and allowing them to arise. It is critical in healing from unprocessed trauma that we get comfortable with these feelings and sensations and realize that the way to heal from the trauma is to work through those feelings and sensations. Again, not reliving the experience, but expressing the feelings that have been stuck within your body. And as you get more and more comfortable with this, you will slowly start to feel more alive. You will notice more of your body. You'll have more energy. It's that whole ebb and flow. If we are stuck in a state of contraction and a relative state of feeling unsafe and fearful, we're not very alive. We can't experience much joy, much happiness, much lightheartedness. And so as you slowly start to have more expansion and contraction in your state of being, you will start to experience more of the joyfulness of life and the aliveness of life, and that is within your body. Give yourself 5 or 10 minutes every day to try this for a week or for 2 weeks and see how you feel and what comes up for you. And again, be gentle with yourself. I would love to hear your experiences with this. Please let me know how it's helped you. As always, share this with anyone else who you think may benefit from it, and have a fantastic day.